Namaskar viewers, I am Sanjeev Pandya welcoming you to this week's episode of the Business Talk with Ajay right here on ITV Gold. The show is brought to you by SAI CPA Services, a full-fledged complete professional accounting firm located in state of New Jersey. Multiple locations, but they can assist you in any tax matters or even IRS tax audit, or even if you're starting a business, whatever guidance, advice that you need, they can really help you out. They're trained and on-hand CPAs will guide you in the right direction, and they will make sure that you do your taxes right. Whether it's a corporate taxes or personal taxes, SAI CPA Services should be the place for you to go. Call them at 908-380-6876 or visit saicpaservices.com. And if you're the regular watcher of the show, The Business Talk with Ajay, you remember last week I was by myself because Mr. Ajay was not really feeling well, so he was not with us. But today he's with us, and I'd like to welcome Mr. Ajay Kumar of SAI CPA Services. Sir, good to have you.
Thank you, Sanjeevji, and thank you for the kind introduction.
Sure, missed you last week.
Yes, I missed the show too.
Okay, so here we are back, and of course we're back, and guess what? Stock market is also back on the upward trend. Since last 4 days, stock market has been doing phenomenally well, and especially S&P 500 has been really going, doing well. So now, since Wall Street really has stepped up in the trading, and everybody's happy. Traders are really happy, and investors are happy because they are looking forward to the thing that Fed may not increase the rate when the time comes in next month.
Well, the Fed did not increase the rate a couple of days ago.
Correct.
So the next rate check will be in January.
Mm-hmm.
So the rate has not been increased for last 2 times. All the indications are the inflation is slowing down. It probably won't reach to 2%, 3%, what the federal chairman, Mr. Powell, wants.
Yes.
That will probably happen in 2025, 2026, not immediately. So the the inflation is coming down, not as fast as you would want it to be. So they're not decreasing the rate, increasing the rate, they're keeping the rate same. So the hope is, the expectation is, even in January, we wouldn't see the rate increase.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jeremy Powell has really way of talking, even though the rate were not increased, but he left the window open.
Absolutely,
that they may increase the rate, but obviously he doesn't want to say anything in the affirmative manner which could hurt the progress, because he welcomed progress on both inflation and the wage growth.
Absolutely.
According to him, it's doing well. He emphasized the rates are clearly restrictive while acknowledging that the focus is now on quote unquote getting confident about the US economy. So the policy is sufficiently tight, and suggesting it may already be, and if it remains that way, then come January, Fed will not increase the rate hike. And of course, investors really like that part when the rate is not increased. All right, now Federal Reserve rate, when the rate increases, obviously it affects many rates, including mortgage rate.
Absolutely.
And a credit card rate and auto loan rate and so on and so forth. Mortgage rate, as you know, AJ, been upward 7 since mid-August.
Absolutely. It's the highest we have seen in the last 23 years.
23 years, exactly. And it reached almost to 8%. Yep. But now slowly, since Fed did not increase rate, slowly it's coming down.
Yes,
just by slowly. So they declined for the 3rd consecutive week as low inventory and high rates continue to stifle borrower demand, because now borrower is confused what to do. Pay high for the property when there's an inventory low.
Absolutely.
and pay really high interest rate.
Yes, it's a both double whammy.
Exactly. And even if they pay higher interest rate, they don't see that they will be able to refinance their property in next 3 to 5 years.
Well, there is no guarantee. If the rates come down, but if the property value goes down substantially, they may not have enough equity in the property to finance. So right now you're paying 7%, upward of 7%, and let's say after a year, the rate come down to 5%.
Right.
But by then, if the property value has come down by 20%, then you don't have enough equity in the property to refinance. That creates a situation when a lot of people, even though the rate will be down, may not be able to refinance in next 3 to 5 years.
All right, so that's the update on a mortgage rate. Now let's move on to government and the borrowing. All right, so now we know the government was going to shut down, but at the last minute, They signed a temporary agreement, so government did not shut down. Now, the U.S. government's borrowing needs, will decline slightly in the final 3 months of this year. So it has declined because, Congress has requested some $776 billion, all right, from the Treasury Department, which is below the 1.01 trillion in privately held marketable debt the department borrowed in July through September period.
The last quarter.
Last quarter. So last quarter was 1.01 trillion, and this last quarter of the year 2023, October, November, December, they've asked for $776 billion. So, this is a good sign, because the last quarter money, 1.01 trillion, that was the highest ever.
Absolutely. So it's going in the right direction,
Yes.
even though the US debt is pretty high currently, and there is no hope for it.
Exactly.
But going down in the fourth quarter, 776 billion is a lot of money, but it's still 25%, almost 25% less than what we had seen in the last quarter, which was the highest borrowing
Correct.
that this country has seen in any quarter.
And this $776 billion request for borrowing, that announcement came after the government said the fiscal 2023 budget deficit would be about 1.7 trillion.
That's
dollars.
huge.
Yes. And that's an increase of 320 billion from the last year.
Wow.
All
So
right.
last year we had the
Yes.
same decline, deficit compared to the revenue versus the expense. This year again, we have 340 billion extra deficit. So this deficit is increasing year over year, and so is the borrowing by the US government.
And now the question that I have is that once the economy gets better, how is this going to work out? I mean,
Well,
the deficit is going to start coming down, or what?
That's how it's supposed to be. In Bill Clinton's time, the US government did not have any deficit. It was all paid up. So a lot of times, depending on the president, depending on the government policies, depending on how much money the government wants to invest in the infrastructure and how much tax that the government can collect, there are a lot of times when there is no deficit. It's a positive thing. So the revenue that the government is collecting is higher than the amount of money that the government is paying.
Yeah.
In that case, the debt starts coming down.
Okay.
So that has increased substantially and has become zero, come down completely. That's what we are hoping.
In this episode, the Business Talk with Ajay, as we are talking, this is all business related stories, because these are all numbers and everything, right? We're actually talking about, instead of company's balance sheet, we're talking about US a country's balance sheet
Absolutely,
here.
you're 100% right, and that's why this upcoming election is going to be extremely important. The country can keep increasing the deficit, or can turn around, make things happen where the deficit can go down, and that's why they are increasing, or at least potentially talking about increasing the corporate income tax rate. That's why the government has hired a lot of people in the IRS to collect more money from the corporate structure.
And I've got a story for that.
Absolutely.
I've got a story for that. As we're talking about US country's balance sheet here, the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, right? He's got his plate full because there are so many challenges. And one of the things the Republicans are proposing, AJ, is that they earmark, let's say, I'm just using this number, they earmark, for example, $100 million for the IRS to go after people who did not pay taxes and cover as much as possible. Republicans are saying, let's take out some money out of that, maybe 20% out of there, whatever the amount is, and help out Israel in this war situation. And this is what they are saying. Now, Democrats are saying that, listen, if you're going to do that, whatever money that we've been able to collect, and that is also hundreds of millions of dollars, right? We're not going to be able to collect it. So we're going to lose from the both ends.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's not a good idea. And I'm not in favor of having IRS increase the staff, increase the audit. But IRS does what the IRS is supposed to do. Their job is to keep honest people honest. Their job is to make sure everybody is filing the taxes, everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing, everybody is paying the fair amount of taxes. If you cut the budget And this is public information. Everybody knows that IRS has no money. IRS cannot do audit. Then people will be more inclined to lie on their tax return, which is not good, which is not good for the country.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's all for the US government related to business in our episode. Now let's move on to the investors and the stocks and everything. You know, this time of the year, obviously, a lot of companies, they really report earnings and whatnot.
Absolutely.
I see one story here, Starbucks. Starbucks stock rises 10% as US customers buy into pricier drinks. Starbucks, we know, is very, very expensive.
It's expensive, but people are not paying for the drink. People are paying for the experience over there. You go to Starbucks shop, it's a happy place. It's a hub. It's a business hub.
I know.
You will see a lot of people doing their meetings, having the calls, doing their business work. So people are buying pricier drink. People are using the environment. The ambience is what people are paying for, as opposed to going to a local coffee shop or Dunkin' Donuts.
Sure. And at the same time, let's just say that Starbucks reported better than expected earnings and revenue for this fourth quarter, right? With net sales climbing 11.4% to $9.37 billion.
Absolutely. And their stock price went up by 10% immediately.
All right. So that's a Starbucks. Now, let's go to the other companies quickly. Roku. Roku has been one of the most popular device, right now. And now Roku branded smart TVs have also come in the store. So earlier this week, Roku reported a net loss of $330 million for the third quarter, or $2.33 per share, nearly triple the loss of $122.2 million or 88 cents per share. But these numbers were actually lower than analysts had expected.
Right.
And that's why the stock price rose even though they reported loss.
You're 100% right. So the streaming services is the future. If you remember, we used to have Blockbuster, we used to have these video, then we had DVD, then we have Blu-rays. Streaming is the new thing. If you remember, Disney is buying shares of the Hulu. 33% for $8+ billion.
Correct.
So you will see there are a lot of streaming services in the market. You will see a lot of consolidation happening in the streaming services. You will see a lot of new streaming services. You will see streaming services doing better than analyst expectation, as what we have seen in this example.
Absolutely.
So this is going to create a situation when you will have a lot of new people coming to the streaming services. The regular TV, regular videos is out of way now.
Well, digital is the future. With that note, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we got more interesting business stories for you in this episode of the Business Talk with Ajay. Stay with us. Welcome back to the second half of the Business Talk with Ajay show. This is the show brings you all the latest business related stories from US as well as around the globe, so that way you can keep up with what's happening in the world of business. And we're happy to bring you this business news stories for you in this show, which is brought to you by SAI CPA Services. SAI CPA Services, who can help you out anywhere in the US with your taxes matter, and they have gotten hundreds of thousands of very satisfied, happy clients, because SAI CPA Services, they know exactly how to do your taxes right. Refund, not refund is a one thing, but to do your taxes right. Also, they advise you where to invest your money during this fourth quarter of the year, meaning this is the time to decide where you want to invest your money in order to save taxes. Obviously, money that you earned, that if you invested in one of the plans, one of the places, then you can also take that in your tax return and save money on a tax liability. SAI CPA Services can guide you with that. So do give them a call at 908-380-6876 or visit their website, saicpaservices.com. Do you also do what Amazon is now going to be trying to do?
No, we don't give the loans out, but I'm glad you pointed out to all our viewers, this is the time for the tax planning. A lot of people will come to us in January, February, March and will ask the same question. How do I save taxes?
Correct.
And for a lot of them, it's too late. Especially if you have a small business, you have to see what profit you expect to have. You have to invest that money into your own business, buy the laptop, buy the desktop, buy the printer, invest that money into your business so you can claim it as an expense and don't pay any taxes. So plan now so you can have a most tax efficient strategy when it comes to the filing taxes.
All right, the others, very good. The other strategy now the Amazon is coming out is to buy now, pay later option from a firm for small business owners.
Absolutely. So a firm is a small loan company, a micro lender we call it. So Amazon has 6 million plus customer. So when a micro lending company works with Amazon, people can take anywhere from $100 to $20,000 of loan.
Correct.
When you're buying the stuff from Amazon, you don't have to pay Amazon immediately. You go through this website, Affirm website, provide your basic information, and Affirm instantly approves your purchase as a loan. And you can pay Amazon through Affirm on installment plans in next 6 months, 1 year, 3 years. So this way, Affirm business will grow multifold. And based on this news, based on their deal with Amazon, Affirm shares increased overnight.
How much interest they charge?
Well, that depends on your credit history.
Okay.
That depends on the credibility, and this is only for the business customer
Small
for the time
business
being.
owners. Okay.
Small business owners for the time being.
Okay. All right. Move on to the next story. A lot of stories from a Wall Street, this week. This week, online delivery company DoorDash. Who doesn't know DoorDash? Of course, reported third quarter results that beat expectations as its expansion beyond restaurants helped grow orders, but said it expected significant levels of ongoing investment. So the company reported third quarter net loss of 75 million or 19 cents a share, compared with 296 million or 77 cents a share. It was in the same quarter last year. And analysts expected DoorDash to lose 40 cents a share on a revenue of $2.09 billion. So instead of 40 cents, they ended up losing only 19 cents, and investors like that.
This is significantly better, even though they're still losing money. But DoorDash has the business model. DoorDash is considered as the Uber for the restaurant. So consider a situation where the restaurants used to have their own full-time employees for delivery service. Now a lot of restaurants are getting away by not having anybody on the delivery service. You can go through DoorDash, pay whatever you have to pay to DoorDash, and it's not a huge amount when it compares to having a full-time person for a few hours every single night.
Absolutely.
So this
Makes
creates
sense.
a situation which is a win-win for the consumer as well as for the restaurant owners. DoorDash is coming up with a new plan where they are thinking, it's not final yet, where they're planning to show a message: if you don't pay enough tip, your order can be delayed. Did you hear about that?
Yeah,
that's
I
an
heard
amazing,
about that, yes.
amazing aspect.
It's a bad service you get from a delivery man. If you don't tip a driver, then their DoorDash is trying to find out that whether you get a bad service because you didn't tip the driver.
Yes, yes.
And many people think that, listen, I'm paying enough for delivery charges and this charges, that charge. Why should I
delivery
tip
charges, the
driver?
food and everything else. So do I really have to tip?
Correct. So that is the thing. Anyway, all right. DoorDash की जब बात हो रही है, so obviously let's talk about some food company. Chipotle, Mexican Grill. This is interesting, right? Is expecting a significant bump in the labor cost next year because of new law in California, which means higher menu prices. This is going to start in California. All right. Starting in April, the minimum wage for fast food workers in California will increase to $20 an hour.
That's amazing. That's extremely,
All right, up from the state's currently rate, which is $15.50. So from $15.50, they're going to go to $20 an hour. That means an average employee, a worker, can easily make $40,000.
So it's not just the numbers.
Yeah.
Imagine the percentage. A 33% increase in the wage is going to result into at least 20%, 25% increase in the menu prices for you. And once one state starts giving minimum $20, all the other states have to follow the suit.
There you go.
They have to increase. They have to have some sort of increases in the minimum wages. This is going to create a ripple effect, not just for Chipotle, for a lot of gas stations, retail stores, for everybody.
While we're talking about California, do you know how much is the minimum wage in Jersey?
I believe it's $14.
$14.
Yes,
$14 in Jersey, $14. Well, actually $15 in New York. New York and Long Island, New York City and Long Island and the Westchester County, that's all $15. But across New York State is a $14 and some cents.
Imagine a situation. New Jersey is $14, New York is $15, California is $15.50.
Now it's going to go to $20.
When California becomes $20,
yeah,
then New Jersey, New York will have to increase, and all other states have to follow the suit.
Everything. And pretty soon you're going to be paying a lot more for a car that you're going to buy, because United Auto Workers Union says reach a tentative deal with General Motors, the last motor company standing in the line to reach an agreement with United Auto Workers. So now it's been more than 6 weeks since workers went on strike. So the company is the last one. So Ford, Chrysler, and now GM, they have reached the tentative agreement. So that is the good thing to do. Now, if you're at home, obviously Peloton is the home-based fitness company, right? They've got some of the classy, top of the line, expensive equipments, right? They reported fiscal first quarter loss of 44 cents a share on revenue of $595 million. Analysts had expected the maker of spin bikes to post a loss of 34 cents. All right, on a revenue of $589 million. So they are within the range. Now, with that note, quickly let's go to India story, because we got a couple of India stories to cover. This is interesting story, AJ. India's GST collection, gross sales tax collection, increased 13 cents to rupees 1.72 lakh crore.
Absolutely.
In October, the second highest ever.
This is huge. And if you go to India, in recent past, everybody has a Paytm.
That's it.
The grocery store guy, the street hawker, the beggars, everybody, even the temples have the Paytm.
There you go.
This is
the
amazing.
Remarkable growth in GST collections over the past few months is not only on account of underlying strong economic factors, but also due to the efforts of the tax authorities in deploying tools to compare data sets to determine short payments and evasion. So
Absolutely.
It's really helping.
Absolutely.
1.72 lakh crore, and it breaks down, central government revenue, then state government revenue, and the other revenue. But altogether, this is really record number. Now, talk about record number. World Cup 2023 is in the progress, and India is doing really well. After Thursday's game, obviously India is unbeaten.
Absolutely.
At 7-0.
7 out of 7.
Yeah, 7 for 7. Total 9 games to play. They got 2 more games to play.
The last match with Sri Lanka probably was the highest margin win by any country.
Correct.
It was 302 runs win.
How can a team like Sri Lanka fall apart? There's 55 runs.
That's amazing.
What I mean to say is that Indian players, they excel in batting, bowling, and the fielding. Like game against Sri Lanka, where Rohit Sharma could not score, but Shubman Gill came this close to century, 92 runs.
Absolutely.
Virat Kohli came also very close to tie his record with Sachin Tendulkar.
Absolutely.
And he scored 88 runs. Unfortunately, he got out. It would have been nice if he had scored century at Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium, because that's when they unveiled Sachin Tendulkar's statue.
Yep. And Shreyas Iyer is doing well.
Shreyas Iyer is doing well. And what about Mohammad Shami and Siraj and Jasprit Bumrah? They are just amazing.
India as a team is doing extremely well in this World Cup. This is amazing how the India is performing.
That is amazing. So that's a World Cup. Now it's going to be really getting exciting, because now getting into India is the first country now to qualify for semi-finals. And there are a couple of countries, by the time you watch this show and by the time the weekend comes in, hopefully the table will be a lot more clearer. But game against South Africa, India-South Africa on Sunday, that is going to be interesting.
That's going to be an interesting.
Let's see who scores 300 runs. But remember, if anyone watching, any one of Indian players watching, do not let South Africa come to bat first, please. Don't do that, all right? That is the advice coming from, of course, myself and AJ. All right, AJ, anything else that you'd like to cover?
We just want to thank our viewers for watching this show. We want our viewers to know that the planning time is now. Any planning that you need to do, the financial planning, the tax planning, you have 60 days almost left before the year end. A lot of these things have to be taken care of before the year end. It's too late in January. So when it comes to financial planning, tax planning, please make sure you start the process now if you haven't already started the process.
All right, so Mr. AJ and his staff at SAI CPA Services are waiting to hear from you. Give them a call at 908-380-6876 or visit saicpaservices.com. AJ, once again, thank you so very much for your time, for your input, for your guidance. And I am Sanjeev Pandya. With that note, we come to an end of this week's episode of The Business Talk with AJ. Until we meet again, same place, same time, you take care of yourself, and so long.
Thank you.